The first one says, I have 82 eggs and 6 buckets. How many eggs go into each bucket, and are there any eggs left over? So I have 82 eggs. I've got 6 buckets in front of me. I'm going to divide those eggs evenly among those buckets. I want to figure out how many eggs can go into each of those buckets. And also I want to know if there are any left over. So this is a division problem because we're dividing the amount of eggs over 6 buckets. So really what we have is 82 eggs, and we're dividing by 6. We want to see how many times will 6 go into that number. So how many times will 6 go into 8? That will only go one time. Then we multiply. 6 times 1 is 6, and subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. Once we've done the subtraction, we reach up and grab the next digit, which is a 2. How many times will 6 go into 22? 6 times 4 is 24. That's too many. 6 times 3 is 18. So 3 goes there. 3 times 6 is 18. We subtract. And then we need to maybe borrow a little bit. If you can't do this in your head, make that a 12, make that a 1. 12 minus 8 gives you 4. And notice that this 4 that we're done with at the end is less than 6. There's nothing left to grab. So what this is telling us is 13 buckets. I'm sorry, 13 eggs. 13 eggs in each bucket. And after we put 13 eggs evenly in each bucket, we have 4 buckets left over, or 4 eggs left over. Okay? We can't put another egg into each one of the buckets because we only have 4 left. We have 6 buckets there, so we can't divide those evenly. So that's what the remainder is in this case, and that's what a remainder really is. Okay? Now, the next problem says a burger restaurant has $1,157 in sales. If each burger costs $13, which is an expensive burger, how many did they sell? So they have a pile of money on the table, $1,157. Each burger costs $13. How many did they sell? This is a division problem. We have a large amount of money. We know how much each burger costs, so now we want to divide to find out how many burgers we sold. $1,157. We're dividing by the $13 burger to see what it is. Okay? So then we first look and see, can 13 go into 1? And it can't. Can 13 go into 11? And it also can't. Can 13 go into 115? Of course it can. How many times does 13 go into 115? I actually don't know off the top of my head, so we go off to the side here. Let's do 13 times 8, just to try it out. 8 times 3 is 24. Put the 4, carry the 2. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So that's 104. That's not terribly close to that, but it's pretty close. Let's try 13 times 9 and just see what we get. 9 times 3 is 27. Put the 7, carry the 2. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. 117. Okay, so if we go 9 times, that's 117. That's too many. So the correct answer is actually 8 times, right? We put the 8 on top of here. We know what the answer to this multiplication here is 104. All right, and now we can subtract straight away. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 minus 0 is also 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. We don't have to write that down. After we do that subtraction, we reach up and grab the next digit, and it's 117 now. Look at what we have here. In the course of doing this, we actually figured out that 13 times 9 was 117. So 13 can go into this actually 9 times. We multiply for 117. We subtract and get 0. After the subtraction, we always check to see if we can pull another digit down. We don't have any more digits. We've done the division. There's nothing left to do. So how many burgers did they sell? 89 burgers that day. Because $13 can go into this pile of money 89 times. And if you want to check that, it's always good to check. You can take 89 and multiply by 13. There's 89 burgers times $13. Let's just check it real quick. 9 times 3 is 27. Put the 7, carry the 2. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 2 is 26. Now we drop down and add a 0. We erase the 2 because we don't need it anymore. And we multiply 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 8 is 8. Now, let's add these. 7 plus 0 is 7. 9 plus 6 is 15. Carry the 1. And then we have 8, 9, 10, 11. 1157, 1157. Everything matches. Everything is correct. So, they sold 89 burgers that day, which I guess is pretty good. Now, the next problem, word problem, says the length of a fence is 380 inches. What is the length in feet? Now you all know that they're 12 inches to 1 foot. And so if I'm measuring something in inches and I want to know how many feet there are, I need to divide because every 12 inches is a foot. So how many sets of 12 inches can I measure into this length of this fence? Well, the way you do that is you need to divide by 12. So 380 inches is the length of the fence. I want to see how many sets of 12 inches fit inside of that thing because that's going to be how many feet. Okay? So we look at this and we say, how many times can 12 go into 3? And it can't. How many times can 12 go into 38? Well, we actually know this because 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. That's awfully close. That's our multiplication tables. 12 times 3 is 36. We subtract. 38 minus 36 is 2. We've done the subtraction. We grab the next digit, bring it down, and then we divide and see how many times can 12 go into 20. Well, 12 times 2 is 24, and that's too many, so we have to go with 1. 12 times 1 is 12. Subtract. Make this a 10. Make this a 1. 10 minus 2 gives me 8. Gives me 8. All right, so the answer to that is actually 8. And I look to see if there's another digit I can bring down, and I can't. So what's going on here is, how many feet is this fence? It's 31 feet, because that is how many times 12 can go into this. However, there's 8 left over. What do you think the 8 means? Remember, I was dividing. I had inches, and I'm dividing by inches. So what I have left over is also inches. So I tried to figure out how many feet this fence was, and I figured out it was 38 whole feet, but there was 8 inches left over, so it couldn't be 32 feet. I have to just hang on to the 8 inches and say it was 31 feet, 8 inches. Notice that the remainder of 8 is less than this. So that's what it always has to be. The remainder has to be less than what's outside of that division symbol. So 31 feet, 8 inches, where the remainder is 8.